Welcome to Speedway, Indiana, and round number 13 of the Monsters of Speed Racing League Cup Series. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you for this one, and let's get right to it. Qualifying already underway is, of course, I don't have the right button for that. Awesome. As we are having problems with the ticker, unfortunately. So let's try something a little bit different, shall we? Yay. We're going to take a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight as we are closing in on the halfway mark of the season. Dylan McDonald with a monster lead, no pun intended. 160 points, roughly, over Greg Wood Jr. Jonathan Coswell, only 5 points out. So Cogswell can definitely make some hay here tonight at the Brickyard. Excuse me. As we are just... Sorry, folks, bear with me. New to this league, so I just need to add a button or two. As qualifying, getting ready to wind on down here. There we go. That's the button I needed. Taking a quick look at the weather conditions coming into tonight. 87-degree ambient air temperature, 46% water grain under cloudy skies. 8-mile-an-hour wind out of the north. So these guys are going to be having a cross breeze coming through 3 and 4. That's never a good thing. They're going to have it coming through 1 and 2. I apologize. Because it's going to be blowing across the infield, flattening out, and just punching right in the middle of the south end of the speedway. Grandstands and all in that area of the track, but definitely something to be mindful of is that track temperature, 121 degrees. Nobody wants to see that. Ain't nobody got time for that. As we are going to take a look at the qualifying attempt of one of my normal broadcast partners. That is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matt Mettler, driving the Monster Energy in number 93. Did I just see Dodge Charger on the front of that? Yes, I did. That does say Charger. Okay, then. Dylan McDonald also out on track right now. There he is. Hashtag Jimmy Strong. We are running for Jimmy tonight. Gotta love it when league management just says, hey, put this up on the screen, then doesn't give me any information on it. But If you're watching in the live chat, go ahead and hit us with hashtag Jimmy Strong, as we're going to be going with that all night long tonight. First lap for McDonald's going to put him second quick. 3 laps of qualifying here tonight. A little bit different than we're normally seeing. Mettler goes 13th quick. Still waiting on Richard Gonzalez, Blake Howell, and John Leach to all lay a lap in qualifying. Dustin Hall, done and dusted. No pun intended. Angel Santiago currently sitting third quick. Jonathan Cogswell right there, fourth quick, still in the hunt. And that's third lap in the books for McDonald. Does improve slightly, does not improve his position, though. And if you folks will bear with me here. We are going to reach out now to the driver of the Jimmy Strong ride. And what is actually going on tonight, sir?
So Jimmy Strong, Coben, actually, he is Dustin Hall's nephew, and I've ran with Dustin Hall over at EPI, and me and him have been friends ever since I joined EPI, and he's Conti's crew chief over on the Coke side. So I hit him up with the greatest idea. Said, "Hey, man, I want to put Jimmy's name up here in the race for him," and he was absolutely on board. He loved the idea, and he actually wanted to be here for his nephew. So
what happened?
Told him I would love to have him out here with us and support his nephew out here tonight.
Okay, I'm going to ask you again, though. What happened to the nephew? Because nobody's explained anything to me.
I honestly have no idea. That would be a question for Dustin or Angel Santiago.
Well, then, let's reach out to the chief cook and bottle washer of the Monsters of Speed NewGen Cup Series. Angel Santiago, explain Jimmy Strong to me.
Jimmy Strong, well, to be honest with you, I can't do it as well as somebody else like Dylan McDonald or Dustin Hall might. But nonetheless, I know that Jimmy was the son of somebody who actually did some paints for some of the guys actually in the field. Daniel, I won't even try to say your last name. He does DEP paints, does a great job.
And still nobody is telling me what happened to the young man. That's my question.
Jimmy had cancer and unfortunately passed away last year.
Okay.
And
so we race in his honor tonight.
Race.
We race in Jimmy's honor. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dustin's actually down there in Discord. He can actually give a little bit more of input on it.
All right, then. Well, gentlemen, I will let you grid up, and we will definitely want to talk to Dustin before the race is over. So if you could let him know not to go anywhere post-race.
All right, will do. Appreciate it, Tony.
And I'll let you gentlemen get back to where you were. Tonight's starting grid. Dustin Hall's going to start up on pole with a 52.904. 87 thousandths over Dylan McDonald in the hashtag Jimmy Strong Ford Mustang. Angel Santiago going to be rolling off in row number 2. He's going to be joined with the outside in that all-Ford row with Jonathan Cogswell. James Jones and Wes Fuller are going to roll it from row number 3. Row 4 is going to see Cody Mitchell and John McIntyre. In all, Greg Woods, row number 5, with Junior starting right next to Senior. Oh, to be a fly on the wall during breakfast tomorrow if things go haywire. David Modespaw, one of my other partners in crime in the broadcast booth for SRM. He's going to be joined with Rhett Belzer in row number 6. Row 7 is going to see Matt Metler and James McCanny. Bill Sleep and John Leach going to roll it from row number 8, and starting shotgun on the field is going to be Richard Gonzalez and Blake Howell. As 18 cars scheduled to roll it here tonight. 60% fuel fill, and we are racing in honor of Jimmy. As let me just go and state this now. Cancer sucks. As we see a lot of paint schemes tonight carrying the hashtag Jimmy Strong banner on them. We race in Jimmy's honor, and I wish somebody would have mentioned this to me prior to me going onto the air, as I was told last minute. But hey, we race in his honor, and this race is all for you, Jimmy. I know you're watching. It's Dustin Hall going to start up on the point tonight. Let us take a quick look at what is going on here. The field worked its way through the north end of the speedway. So the grandstand going to pretty much block that wind on that side of the track, as pace car getting ready to haul it on off. Geico restart zone is in effect tonight. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. We're back home again in Indiana. Grandma, grab your curtains. Race fans, it's showtime! So we get the getaway. Dustin Hall being pushed along by Angel Santiago. Dylan McDonald trying to work the outside now as they go through the south end of the speedway. We've got problems in turn 1. Remember what I said about being a fly on the wall should anything go haywire on the opening lap? I'd like to apologize to both the Greg Woods Jr. and Sr. when I said that. I was being facetious, but apparently not so much. As there you see Jr. hauling it off into turn number 1. Just keep your eye on Senior here. There's Senior in the Salt Life number 64 with the purple numbers on that black roof. We're going to haul it off into turn number 1, and it looks like that car just got hella loose coming through the middle of the corner, and we've got a pile up early. James McCanny caught up in that. Jonathan Leach, David Modespaw catching a piece of that. Let's see what happened to Modespaw here. Modespaw on the low side in the 1. And he just gets collected. Absolutely nowhere to go. Absolutely no way to avoid that. Jonathan Leach in pretty much the same category, as that thing just went to the outside and John had absolutely nowhere to go. Same thing goes for Jay McCanny, as we are already under caution 1 here tonight. Working lap 3 of 60. 4 sets of tires to get him through this evening. Use them wisely, as this track is notorious for just annihilating right side tires. And if we can get the high-speed drone operator to get in front of the field, yes, thank you. You can see it right there on the hood of Dustin Hall's car. Jimmy Strong. And I got to tell you, folks, it never gets any easier when, you know, I do these broadcasts year in, year out, week in, week out. And just in the past 3 months, this is the fourth tribute race that I've had to do for somebody that has been stricken in one way, shape, or form by cancer. And I honestly think, and I'm not trying to place blame here, and I'm not trying to be on my soapbox or anything, but the medical industry in this country, I'm not going to mince words, it sucks. Doctors would rather treat the symptoms than find a cure, because it's all a money grab. That's all it is. And because of that, young men like Jimmy have to suffer. We have a hospital near me in Syracuse, New York, called the Golisano Children's Hospital. And it is for young men and women. And I say that because these kids have to grow up too damn fast. Way too fast. And because of that, you know, they are some of the strongest people on the planet that are battling for their lives every single day. And it shouldn't be that way. You know, I think that's something that we can all agree on, is that we need a form of medical reform in this country to find a damn cure. This needs to stop. Find a damn cure. Too many kids are getting lost to cancer every single day. And I'm sorry if I sound emotional about this, and I'm sorry if I make anybody mad, but it's bullshit that kids have to suffer. The green flag comes back out. Dustin Hall, Dylan McDonald side by side. McDonald side by side with Santiago. Santiago not getting as decent of a jump as he did on the first hit, as he's now door to door with John McIntyre going into one. McIntyre lets him in as he wants to get to that low side as quickly as humanly possible. Single filed out up front here. Everybody playing nicely so far. Greg Woods Jr. able to... and, of course, we're Indy snaking down the straightaway here at the Brickyard as Santiago looks to the inside of Hall going into 3. And still on the north end of the track, Santiago still looking on that inside. He's going to have to be careful because you definitely don't want to try to the outside. The outside lane does not work here at Indy. Just ask Sam Hornish. Dustin Hall, Angel Santiago, Dylan McDonald, Jonathan Cogswell, John McIntyre rounding out your top 5 as we go a little bit deeper in this field. There is McIntyre, who has his rearview mirror being filled right now with James Jones. A throwback Kevin Harvick paint scheme. Low downforce package on this car here at the Brickyard. Current fast lap of the race belongs to that Highland Myers number 90 of Angel Santiago, as He's a little bit twitchy on the north end of the track. Not to be expected. Everybody playing nice so far here. Nobody getting real antsy. Just trying to feel it out, see what they've got here. As new fast lap of the race, 53.11, set by Dustin Hall. So we're going to go on board with Angel here. Closest battle on track. That is Wes Fuller right on the back bumper of Greg Wood Jr. An under race pace, Dustin Hall in the 13. Just became the first man tonight to go sub 53 in race pace. The question is he going too hard too soon? Already a second gap over that chase peloton being led by Angel Santiago and the Highland Myers Mustang. He's got the Jimmy Strong. He's got 3 Mustangs behind him. Matter of fact, I believe that is a 4th Mustang. Yes, it is. Okay, McIntyre in a Ford Mustang with GM Goodwrench on the livery. Let's get that high-speed drone back out there, can we? Yep, that's a Mustang. Ford Goodwrench. Why do I smell burnt toast? Anyways, little 3-car dueling going on here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's Rhett Blazer, Greg Wood Jr., and Wes Fuller, all within striking distance of each other. A Chevy leading a Toyota, leading a Ford. That's actually a Ford. Wood looking to the inside on Belzer. And just like that, the Camry up into 7th place. Wes Fuller looking to follow him through as Belzer starting to fall off just a little bit. And it looks like Angel Santiago under heavy pressure right now from Dylan McDonald. Track temperature still 127 degrees. Good grief. It'd be a warm one in the Brickyard tonight. So we work lap 11 of 60. Some of your closest battle and going on back here just inside the top 10. As that's Fuller and Belzer going after each other again. Richard Gonzalez in the 23 Oreos ride starting to claw his way up towards the front. He is your biggest mover currently, sitting at +7, as he was able to dodge that first melee. So that 23 of Gonzalez currently sits +7 in 10th place. Let us know who you're pulling for in the live chat, and don't forget to give us a hashtag Jimmy Strong in the chat. And while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you enjoy what we're doing here. Dustin Hall, absolutely our pleasure to bring this race to the masses. We will definitely be talking to you post-race as McDonald and Cogswell going after each other now. A little Mustang on Mustang action down the back chute. And just like that, the Red Cobra gets in front of the yellow Mustang GT. Battling back on the high side is McDonald, trying to see if that second lane is going to do anything for him. Gets a little bit stronger of a run coming off of 4, able to take the outside lane. Drag race down the front chute. And give the lap to McDonald in third. Cogswell going to make another stab at it in the south end of the speedway. It's McDonald almost into the wall, coming through the short chute. Meanwhile, Dustin Hall already out to 3 1/4 seconds to the good over Angel Santiago, who just so happens to be leading this little peloton of 4. So it's Dustin Hall, who's 3 1/2 seconds up the road. Angel Santiago and Dylan McDonald come side by side, coming off of turn number 4 down the front chute with a good head of steam. Drag race happening as Cogswell pushing the 38. McDonald going to wrestle second away. Santiago hanging tough, though, on the top side. That car's starting to skate a little bit. He had to blip the throttle, and McDonald back into second, I should say. As right now, your top 4 are running stem to stern. Your second through 5th are running stem to stern. As we just had somebody go for a ride. It was Rhett Belzer had to chase it down the track off of 2. And that's because he was expecting the wind to gust and it didn't. Meanwhile, Angel Santiago under heavy pressure from Jonathan Cogswell right now. Battle for the final step of the podium as they're leaning on each other through 4. Both cars starting to skate. They're going to have to be careful because John McIntyre is looking for a run. He gets the run. And just like that, the Nissan Supra Ford Goodwrench service by me. As we work lap 16 of 60 here tonight. Only 2 sets of tires to get them through the 60 laps here, so we're looking pit stops somewhere after lap 30. And Hall is just walking away from these guys. We're going to go on board with Dustin Hall and just see what it's like on board with him. And just like that, we are under caution for the stage break. And with that, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills, and we'll be back right after this. And we are back in Speedway, Indiana at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round number 13 of the Monsters of Speed Racing League NewGen Cup Series. David Modespaw using a little pit strategery. He stays out. Everybody else came down for at least a fuel stop. A few drivers taking foreign fuel, which I think that's a little early to be changing tires out considering they only had 2 sets to get them through the evening. Pace car peels on off. Modespaw on the outside has the button in that Mustang. Holds him down. And he pulls the trigger, and we are back underway here at Indy. Hall and Santiago go door to door down the front chute, side by side into turn number 1. Santiago caught on that outside, not really where he was hoping to be. Tar looking a little bit twitchy on. It looks like Santiago may have taken 2. I believe Dustin Hall only took fuel. Looks like 4 for Cogswell in the 27. And James Jones only took fuel. So a good mix of 2 tires, no tires, and 4 tires here under the stage caution. Angel Santiago chasing it down the track off of 4. That's going to jam him up. It's going to let Cogswell get to his outside. He's got to be careful now as James Jones working door to door with him. Santiago able to wrestle away as Jones completely misses the corner as Greg Woods looks up the inside. Modespaw starting to drop back a little bit as Santiago and he lean on each other. Here comes that fast Toyota, the 78 of Greg Wood Jr. And we've got a blinker going on in the back. I believe that is Modespaw having a little bit of connection issues as we've got a race for the lead. Cogswell sends it going into 3, Ford back to the front. Cogswell and Hall running stem to stern right now. They're starting to pull a gap on Greg Wood Jr. as he is still battling pretty hot and heavy with both Angel Santiago and John McIntyre. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th running stem to stern. Then you got a little bit of a gap back to the 83 of Matt Mettler. Mettler currently your biggest mover of the event, plus 7, back in 6th place. There he is in the only Dodge in the field. Cody Mitchell having to chase it down the track in that Hot Wheels 44. Not having a good time of it right now. As Mitchell and Belzer going after each other now. The 94 Belzer caught on that outside lane. Had a little bit of trouble going through 3 and 4. Into the short chute he comes. And Modespaw, who was the race leader as we restarted on lap 20, now sits in 13th. He's going to try to one-stop this, I think. Meanwhile, back up here towards the front, Wood has gotten by Santiago. Santiago and McIntyre now run stem to stern. Ford and the Nissan going after each other. Is Hall given all sorts of pressure by Greg Wood Jr. Wood looking to the inside, going into 3. The north end of the track is where the passes are being made. And just as I say that, McIntyre looks to the inside of Santiago, leaning on each other in the middle of 4. And it looks like Hall may have caught the wall on the exit of 4. Wes Fuller starting to apply some pressure to Dylan McDonald now. So Cogswell, Wood, Hall, Santiago, McIntyre. Your top 5, Mettler, McDonald, Fuller, Jones, and Belzer rounding out your top 10. As we currently sit, this is your closest battle on track between Dylan McDonald and Wes Fuller. Fast approaching the halfway mark here tonight at Indy. As McDonald and Fuller continue to... They're either working with each other or they're trying to race each other, and I'm not sure which. As they are starting to gain ever so slightly on Matt Mettler in front of them. As Mettler has caught the draft of Angel Santiago. As McIntyre has gotten by him. And now McIntyre putting the pressure on Hall. Ford, Toyota, Chevy, your top three as we currently sit. Then you've got the Nissan of McIntyre, followed by the Ford of Santiago, the Dodge of Mettler, the Ford of McDonald, and the Ford of Fuller. Then the two Chevys of Jones and Balzer, rounding out your top 10. McIntyre looks to the inside going through turn 2. There you see the Speedway Hall of Fame in the background. Some of the most influential cars in racing history reside at that hallowed ground. Meanwhile, back here for the final spot in the top 10, it's James Jones and Belzer working on each other. Jones gets a little bit of a reprieve coming down the front chute. Little bit of the Indy Snake, not quite as aggressively as we have seen in the past. It's a tiny snake. It's just like a garden snake. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Again, thank you so much for joining us in the live chat. If you haven't done so already, give us a hashtag Jimmy Strong as we race in young Jimmy's honor tonight. Caitlin, you have my most solemn condolences to your family. As she said in the live chat, Jimmy fought, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this because I know I'm going to butcher it. The only portion of that I'm not even going to try to pronounce what form of cancer Jimmy had. But, you know, when that young man has to go and fight for a year just to come up 3 days short, you know, that's... makes me question what I do. You know, it's just, it's not fair. A life taken so soon. But we race in his honor tonight. Race we shall. As we've got a good battle going on for second here is Woods and McIntyre door to door. Wood on the low side, McIntyre on the top shelf. They are still door to door at the south end of the speedway. Through the short chute they come into treacherous turn number 3. Neither one wanting to give up here. As John Cogswell in the 27 is out to 4 3/4 seconds over this battle for second right now. You almost think it would behoove both of these guys to just fall in line with each other and just push to get up there. Oh, a little bit of tail wagging the dog for Greg Wood Jr. coming through the short chute. McIntyre had it well spotted, backed off, and it looks like we are under caution. And I don't have anything on my HUD here, so I'm going to have to say that's probably the second stage caution, as we are just past the halfway mark. Take a look at our top 10. Cogswell, Wood, McIntyre, Hall, Santiago, McDonald, Metler, Fuller, Belzer, and Sleep getting the final spot in the top 10. Final point being given for the stage. And with that, we're going to step away, pay a couple more bills. And we are back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round number 13 of the Monsters of Speed Racing League NewGen Cup Series. Hashtag Jimmy Strong tonight as we race in Jimmy's honor. Currently working lap 34 of 60, just past the halfway mark. Matt Metler, John Leach, all electing to stay out. McIntyre pit for fuel only in the only Nissan in the field. Metler, Leach, the only two that stayed out, took fuel only under the previous stage caution back on lap 17. Lights are out on the pace car. It gets ready to peel on off. There, come on. There it goes, and here we go. Metler in control of the field on the low side. Choose lane, only 3 getting brave enough to take that outside lane. As Metler drops the hammer, and we are back underway. McIntyre looking to the outside. Metler trying to keep him from pinching down too much. Leach sideways off a 1. 3 wide going into turn number 3. Everybody having that well spotted. That is an angry pack of wolves. Meanwhile, up in the front of this piece, Metler shows the way. McIntyre right on his tailgate. Sorry, folks, I do too much truck announcing. Right on his trunk lid. Greg Wood Jr. right there as well in the mix. And Dylan McDonald rounding out your top 4 as he and Wood go door to door, coming down the front chute for 3rd. A little bit of the Indy snake happening as Metler does throw the block on the 29. Stays on the low side, 2x2 at the front of this piece. Throw a blanket over your top 4. Is Metler taking the short way around, as is Wood Jr. McIntyre and McDonald taking a little bit longer route, and McIntyre just threw it around the outside. Here comes Metler looking back to the inside, going into 3, doesn't have the angle as McIntyre slams the door in his face. The 38 of McDonald door to door with Wood. He's looking to get a 2-fer as they come through turn number 4 and does so. McDonald up into 2nd. As Metler and Rhett Belzer go, that's Wes Fuller going door to door now. Metler just didn't have the run, as looks like Fuller did take fuel only. First one to go 4 tires is that 27 of Cogswell. As he's starting to claw his way back to the front. Oy. Getting a little dicey back there just outside the mid-pack as McIntyre and McDonald go door to door going into 3. South end of the speedway. Down the short chute they come. Still door to door. Plenty of room, plenty of respect being given here tonight. Lap 37 of 60. McIntyre, McDonald, Wood, Fuller, Metler, Cogswell, Santiago, Belzer, Leach, and Bill Sleep rounding out your top 10. James Jones, Richard Gonzalez, Dustin Hall, and Cody Mitchell rounding out your lead lap cars in 14. David Modespa, unfortunately, when that stage caution came out, he had just come down pit road as he had to pit on lap 27 after staying out under the first stage break. So just a little bit shy. About 27 laps under anger is all that Modespa could get out of a tank of Go Fast. So it's time for good news, bad news. Good news. Most everybody came down on lap 32 or 33. Bad news, you can't make it from there. Not unless you go into fuel conservation mode right from the get. And when you heard me talk earlier about the low downforce package, you see that little black strip? That's the metal spoiler, and you can just barely make out that little tiny piece of plexiglass bolted to it. This car generates all the downforce out of that undercarriage there. You see those vertical pieces just under the rear bumper? That's what they call the diffuser, because there's a flat pan under this car and side skirts that create a vacuum under it to suck it to the track rather than the wings and spoilers pushing it down into the track. It has its advantages and its disadvantages. The advantages are you can generate a whole lot more downforce the way that they're doing it. The bad news is if you get the car more than 10 degrees off kilter, in other words, 10 degrees sideways, you're probably going around. As Cogswell has caught McIntyre, Cogswell on those fresh shoes has been making quick work of those cars around him as he's already up into third and sets his sights on getting by. Gets hemmed up a little bit. Oy. That got dicey. 3 wide down the front chute. Woods on the high side. McIntyre was on the low side, and Cogswell just sent it up through the middle, sideways, coming through one. Bumping and banging with Woods in the middle of the short chute. Here comes Santiago on the outside. Still door to door. Woods and McIntyre have not let each other rest since the green flag came out. Now Santiago throwing his hat into the mix. He's on the fresh shoes as well. Taking 4 in fuel under that stage caution. 20 laps to go. The question is, who's going to be the first one to flinch? Because we've already seen from David Modespaw, you cannot make it from here. So you can make it from here, but you can't make it from that stage break. Dylan McDonald currently showing the way out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So local boy done good. In the 38, driving the Jimmy Strong Ford Mustang. Jonathan Cogswell right behind him, as both those guys did take 4 tires in fuel under the last caution, Plainfield, Indiana. So 2 Hoosiers at the front of the field. And Greg Wood Jr. is the first one to flinch to bring it down pit road. Leach on the outside, James Jones on the inside. That's your battle for 9th and 10th as they go door to door. Leach letting it hang out in that second lane. Goes a little bit too high in one. It's going to open the door for the 23 of Richard Gonzalez to get to him. And congratulations, Jonathan Leach, on graduating from college just last weekend. Proud of you, kid. You're doing us proud here at SRM. And since Jonathan has taken over the broadcast company here, this company has grown by leaps and bounds, and I couldn't be happier to be working for that young man driving the the 86 here tonight. As looks like McIntyre is coming down for a splash and go, as is Mettler. Bill Sleep up into 6, your biggest mover sitting +9. As I believe I'm seeing a Jurassic Park paint scheme on that car. Kinda, sorta. Meanwhile, James Jones and Richard Gonzalez going after each other. Gonzalez in the Oreo 23 all over the back bumper of the 45 of Jones. Jonathan Leach and Cody Mitchell all right there within striking distance. Meanwhile, up the front of this piece, Dylan McDonald is starting to pull a little bit of gap on Jonathan Cogswell. Wes Fuller is going to bring it pit side. Here we go, 16 to go. And I believe everybody has taken their final set of tires. As Mettler going to go a lap down coming off of pit road. But he should get that back when the leaders need to come down for their splash and go. McDonald continuing to show the way. This battle's still hot and heavy between Leach and Gonzalez. Leach giving plenty of room, trying not to burn off those right side tires. Woods and Fuller starting to heat things up. Just like that. Fuller's coming out of the pits now. He's going to log in behind McIntyre right on the chase of Woods Jr. He's in 9th. And it looks like we are under caution. Looks like problems for the 20. Let's take a look at what happened here. Coming out of his pit box, watching the speed limit. There's the cone. Gasses it up, hits the bump, and around she goes. Dude, you're on the road course. Well then. That far off the racing line and the caution gets thrown. Who'da thunk it? So that means, I believe it means Matt Mettler should be getting his lap back for the free pass. Again, you are watching the Monsters of Speed NewGen Cup Series, round number 13 here tonight. And I'm kind of disappointed in all y'all in the live chat. I only see one hashtag Jimmy Strong. I know there's 11 of you in here, but I want to see more hashtag Jimmy Strong showing up in that live chat. Speaking of hashtag Jimmy Strong, there goes Dylan McDonald in the Jimmy Strong Ford Mustang. And hands the lead of the race back over to Jonathan Cogswell, and I don't know if Cogswell, I don't think Cogswell can make it from here. He was last down on lap 32. That's going to be darn close, I'll tell you right now. Everybody else behind him, actually Cogswell and Mitchell in the 44, both electing to stay out. This is going to get interesting because everybody else behind those two can just straight up go like hell. Looks like connection issues for Jonathan Leach. Leach is out of gas. Mettler, being the nice guy after getting his free pass to get back on the lead lap, is going to push his teammate and boss man back around. So let's review, shall we? Cogswell, Mitchell, Wood, McIntyre, Fuller, McDonald, Hall, Jones, Gonzalez, Santiago. Your top 10. Metler in 11th, still on the lead lap. Leach, the final one being scored on the lead lap, in 12th. Bill Sleep, Rhett Belzer, David Modespaw, Greg Wood Sr., James McCanney, and Blake Howell all multiple lap, one or more laps down, let's put it that way. See, Leach just barely able to beat the pace car off of pit road as the lights do go out. And two guys that have just gone after each other all night long at the front of this piece. Cogswell in the 27 Ford Mustang. Wood Jr. in the 78 Jimmy Strong Toyota. "12 laps to go." And the question is, after taking the choose cone, can Cogswell and Mitchell both make it? That's a darn good question. It looks like 27 laps. 25 to 27 laps is all you're going to get out of a tank of fuel here tonight. And these guys are right there on the ragged edge. They had to have saved at least 2 laps. This caution did help, but it is a big ask. And they cannot, as I mentioned earlier, do like the rest of this field can and just flat out go like hell. As they work their way off of turn number 4, pace car getting ready to peel on off the 27 of Cogswell. Gonna have the button on the low side. Pace car is in. Cogswell brings them into the restart zone. Drops the hammer, and we are back underway. Getting a pretty darn good getaway. McIntyre right there with Woods. Mitchell not able to get away like he was hoping to. He's back to 4th. Greg Wood Jr. not only has 10 more laps of fuel, he's got 10 lap newer tires. We saw what Cogwell and McDonald could do when they had the fresh shoes. Now Wood is in the catbird seat, and he is flat trying to get it done. McIntyre in the same boat. Both those guys, when they pit on lap 42, did take 4 and fuel. 10 laps to go at the stripe. Battle for second, hot and heavy. McIntyre all over the back bumper of Wood. These two guys have just gone after each other since the initial hit of the green flag. And speaking of hit, Wood bangs the wall in the middle of the short chute on the south end. That's going to open the door for McIntyre to get to his inside and around. Santiago gets around Mitchell. Mitchell fading fast as he's trying to save some fuel. He's trying to save enough to get to the natural finish. The way these guys are racing, I don't know if we're going to get the natural finish here tonight. Checking in the back end of the top 10, that is Richard Gonzalez and, Jones going after Fuller for 8th. Gonzalez hanging back just a little bit. Fuller now goes after the 14 of Dustin Hall. Meanwhile, at the front of this piece, Cogswell, McIntyre, and Wood Jr. And we've got one around. It's the 38 of McDonald. Everybody goes through the grass and scatters to make sure they don't hit him. And I spoke too soon. Gonzalez just went for a ride. Let's take a look at what happened to McDonald here as we go up to the eye in the sky. What our friends in the chopper cam picked up. Santiago bangs the wall in the south chute. He and the 44 get together. Santiago bangs the wall off a 2 and just gets down into the 38. He wasn't really in control of the car. Nowhere to go. The 35, but Fuller collects him. And then watch this shot here. Modespa eats the inside retaining wall of solid brick. Gonzalez gets all sorts of sideways. And just like that, we are under our third caution for incident. And all this is doing, these cautions, they're just helping Cogswell's case. As generally you can save about a lap and a half to 2 laps here under caution conditions. So what looked to be out of reach might just happen, as depending on how much he was saving under these last couple of cautions, Cogswell might be able to make it from lap 32 now. Going to see a handful of cars come down pit road. Mitchell, Santiago, Sleep, Modespa, Gonzalez, Leach, all bringing them down to get some damage repair. Currently sitting 7 laps to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Hashtag Jimmy Strong. I want to thank everybody for throwing those hashtag Jimmy Strongs in the live chat. Proud of y'all. Proud of you for sticking by us here. And we would like to invite everybody to head on over to trishashope.com. It's a non-for-profit, so it is tax deductible, with all the proceeds going to active cancer patients in the northern Midwestern area. So from Wisconsin down to down into Indiana. You know, every dollar donated is sent out to a cancer patient somewhere, and as I'm sure as some of you who've gone through that battle can attest, you sometimes have to make a choice of, well, do we put gas in the car to get to treatment, or do we put food on the table this evening? And Trish's Hope tries to they try to help with covering those bills. You know, it may only seem like $1 to you, but if you pledge $1 and your neighbor pledges $1, and a couple people that you show this video to at work pledge $1, you know, that adds up quickly. It could pay, you know, a water bill, or it could keep the lights on at some place, put groceries on the table, you know, help cover transportation to and from treatment. And it's no money out of pocket to the cancer patients and their families. So if you're looking for some place to donate, trishashope.com is where I send my donations to. And I meant every word I said earlier when I said that this has to stop and they need to find a damn cure for the cancers, because we can find a vaccine for a disease we didn't even know about in less than 6 months, but God forbid we can cure cancer. And now that I stepped off of my soapbox, we're trying to get back to racing. We're going to restart on the handshake lap. The 27 of Cogswell going to have the button. McIntyre starting to his outside in the 29. Greg Wood Jr., Wes Fuller, Dustin Hall rounding out your top 5. Dylan McDonald, James Jones, Matt Metler, Angel Santiago, Richard Gonzalez rounding out your top 10. As the pace car is in. Here we go. Buckle up, pumpkin. It's about to get righteous. Cogswell getting a good getaway as McIntyre and Wood Jr. going door to door. And here comes the 13 of Hall up the inside. 38 of McDonald. Oh, we've got problems in the back. Take a look at what happened to Wes Fuller here. As he's going to get low. The 13 goes up the gut. Gets a little bit loose, a little bit more loose, a little bit more loose. Oy. Oh! Let's watch that again. Keep your eye on the 45 of Jones, the white car in the middle, on the right side of your screen. 38 going to collect Jones. Jones nowhere to go and gets annihilated by cars behind him. Oh my goodness. Well, that means only one thing. We going into overtime, folks. And for those of you unfamiliar with how overtime works, here in the iRacing servers, green flag is going to come out. The leader of the race, who in this case just happens to be Jonathan Cogswell, has to come all the way back around to take the white flag. He has to cross the start-finish line to accept the white flag. If he does that, we are racing back to checkers. If he does not cross the start-finish line before all hell breaks loose, we're going to rack him, stack him, and try it again for up to 3 attempts. And let me just make sure I've got that number right. I believe it's 3 attempts here. As they're trying to hustle cars around. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. As we race for Dustin Hall's nephew, who unfortunately lost his battle with cancer this past October. We're racing that young man's honor. As, you know, he was a race fan through and through. And that's something we can all relate to. So if you haven't done so already, give me a hashtag Jimmy Strong in the live chat, please. Dustin, I unfortunately did not see you put that in there early enough, but I will be wanting to talk to you post-race, sir. And we're not going to bother you right now because you still have a shot at this one, as we should be getting the 1 to go signal here. One of 3 attempts. So first one coming up. Cogswell going to have the button. Hall going to restart in third, right behind the control car of Jonathan Cogswell. Greg Wood Jr. electing to take the outside lane, as is the 29 of McIntyre. The 90 of Santiago. Matt Metler electing to take the inside lane. Gonzalez, Leach, Belzer, and Mitchell rounding out your top 10. McDonald, Jones, Modespa, and Fuller rounding out your lead lap cars in 14th. Bill Sleep and James McCanny rounding out your cars still running. Greg Wood Sr. has been in pit road for a little bit of time now. As the field works its way into the north end short chute, Cogswell gonna have the button. Woods to his outside. Hall and McIntyre starting right behind him. Hall still having a shot at this one after starting up on the pole. I know young Jimmy was standing up there right now watching down on us, pulling for his uncle to pull this one off as Wood Jr. starting to get a little bit of the blinkies. Cogswell pulls the trigger. Wood pinches down. That's dangerous with how bad his connection issue is right now. It's Hall looking up the inside. Dustin Hall up into second. Looking for more, though. Still side by side with Wood. Wood on the high side. Hall on the low side. And Hall finally gets the clear coming off of 2. Wood bangs the wall down the back chute. Cogswell, Hall, Wood. They just have to make it to the start-finish line. Santiago looks to the inside of McIntyre now. Drag race down the front straightaway for 4th. Coming to the stripe. Yard of bricks is crossed. We are racing back to checkers. Cogswell and Hall running stem to stern right now. Starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Greg Wood Jr. Through the north end of the track they come. Oh, sideways for the 27. That's going to open the door for Hall. Hall gets to his inside, coming through 2. Hall, your new leader. As Leach has to chase it down the track coming off of 2. Hall, though, in the front of this piece. And he is just walking away from that 4 to Cogswell. Wood Jr. looking to the inside, coming through the north turn. Out of turn number 4, unless the wheels fall off it. Talk about a storybook ending. Dustin Hall, your winner. Greg Wood Jr. getting credited with 2nd. Jonathan Cogswell in 3rd. Andrew Santiago 4th. John McIntyre running out your top 5. Matt Metler and Jonathan Leach tied for biggest mover at +8. And with that, we are going to reach out to our race winner right now. Dustin Hall Your nephew is looking down with the biggest smile on his face right now. I'll put money on it.
And I sure hope so. Thank you for having me, and great race. Thank you.
You absolutely put on a stellar performance here tonight, as we've got all the Jimmy Strong cars on the front straightaway right now. Sir, congratulations. How much does this race mean to you right now? And talk to us about your nephew when you feel up to it.
I'll do my best. His name's Coben. His middle name's James.
Okay.
I've called him Jimmy all his life, and he's hands down the toughest kid I've ever met, I've ever known. He's inspired me in so many ways, mostly through the last year of his life and the fight that he put on. We just made it through his 6 month since his passing, and it was it was very hard on all of us. Some of us show it in different ways, and I've always had to be his or be the tough guy, the tough brother, tough uncle, and I've had to compartmentalize a lot. So racing, crew chiefing for Michael Conti, this is iRacing has been my release, and there's a lot been going on, and it's all kind of culminated up to this event, and I'd be ungrateful if I didn't express extreme gratitude to the admins for letting me jump in this league with for this race, for this event, honoring Jimmy, honoring Coben, and it's I wanted this one bad, man. I wanted it real bad.
Well,
And to get it for him, man, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family.
well,
Again, man,
his mom and your sister were watching, so.
yeah. His mom, my son Dannon checked in, said hello. Gosh, I love them so much. And Callie-Ann in chat is his mom. She's such a rock. She's amazing. She's incredible. With Coben's passing, we've got a new mission. We need to increase cancer awareness for the youth. Child cancer receives only 4% of funding raised for cancer. Only 4%. And we lose so many kids. Like you said earlier in the broadcast, and great job, by the way, and thank you, daily. We lose so many kids to this horrible disease. And that's tragedy. Our kids deserve more than that, more than 4%.
They absolutely do, especially when, I go to the local hospital that has its children's, there's a local children's hospital connected to Upstate University Hospital here in Syracuse. And if you ever get a chance to wander through the Golisano Children's Hospital, every room is jam-packed full of kids battling different forms of cancer. And you're absolutely right. 4% is bullshit.
It is. And honestly, my heart goes out to each and every one of them, because I've seen firsthand what their fight is. And by God, if we don't do more for our kids, then we're doing an extreme injustice to them. And it's not right. It's not fair. Jimmy, if you are somehow listening, man, I love you. And I miss you, and I think about you every day, bud.
Dustin Hall, again, congratulations on winning tonight. Go celebrate with your family, my friend, and we'll take the rest of it from here.
We're about to we're about to burn this thing down for him. We'll do a Polish victory lap for him as well.
Absolutely.
It's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely. Go ahead and burn him down. John Force style burnout for Jimmy in his honor. And you really want to impress me, do a smiley face.
My man.
Dustin, again, congratulations. We're going to let you go celebrate with your family. Best of luck to you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the broadcast. Thanks to the league.
So that was our race winner. And joining me now, one of the other hashtag Jimmy Strong cars in the field tonight, Greg Wood Jr., all things considered, hashtag Jimmy Strong finishing 1-2.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. A couple little mishaps. I packed the wall a couple times, but all in all, it was a good race. I wanted that win because I know this is a one-off for Dustin, and I'm running for the championship. So, but I'm glad he won it.
Well, for the first 3/4 of this race, you and John McIntyre could not get away from each other.
Definitely not. It at the start of the race, it was so hard to even get a run on anybody. The only way I was able to get around anybody was to pack air or take the air off their left rear, rather, and get them a little loose and then drive under them. That was my method the whole race.
Well, it seemed like it worked, but absolutely. And the pit strategy worked to perfection. You saved that final set of tires. I was kind of questioning it early on, but you saved that final set of tires for what turned out to be your money stop back on 42. So, it's always better to have them in your pocket and need them than need them and not have them.
Yeah, I didn't want that last caution to come out because I knew then Dustin and Dylan would take tires and shoot to the front. That put them at about 5-lap newer tires. But, I mean, tires didn't really matter that much. Whenever, at the end of stage 2, whenever I didn't take tires, I was still running P2, P3, and the people that took tires weren't running away from me. So tires really weren't that much of a factor here until you got later in the run.
All right. Greg, who do you need to thank for the podium tonight?
I thank all my teammates at Titletown and Rage Motorsports, you guys for doing a good broadcast for us, and hashtag Jimmy Strong. He lost his battle, and he's in our thoughts and prayers.
Greg Wood Jr., congratulations, and we'll see you next week, sir.
See you, sir.
And joining me now is the man that he just barely edged out. Final 2 steps of the podium, local boy done good. The Pied Piper of Plainfield, Indiana, Jonathan Cogswell. Congratulations on the podium finish tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Talk us through just how difficult it was at times to make a move happen on anybody.
It was very difficult to pass. So almost impossible, really. But this is all about tire wear and gas. And I had to fuel it in the, actually, if it had stayed green, I thought I was going to win for sure. And then those last 2 cautions came out, and people were able to maximize the tires and beat me. Congratulations to Dustin. It's well-deserved, and he's really excited about it. I'm really happy for him.
All right, Jonathan, who else do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
Well, I thank Mustard Speed for having the event, and thank you for broadcasting, and all the drivers for showing up. It's a blast.
All right, Jonathan Cogswell, we will see you next week, sir. Congratulations on the podium here at the Brickyard.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll get a win this season. It's been 2 seasons, and I'm still hunting for it.
Fingers crossed for you, my friend, and there's always next week.
I'll be here.
And that is going to do it for us tonight. We got another one in the books. Dustin Hall coming home with the victory. Greg Wood Jr. hanging on for second. Jonathan Cogswell in third. Angel Santiago and John McIntyre running out your top 5. Matt Metler, Cody Mitchell, Jonathan Leach, Rhett Belzer, and Richard Gonzalez rounding out your top 10. David Montespa, Dylan McDonald, Wes Fuller, and James Jones rounding out your lead lap cars in 14th. Bill Sleep rounding out your top 15. James McCanney finishing 1 lap down in 16th, and Greg Woods Sr., unfortunately, after that first lap melee, kind of never really could rebound from that. Blake Howell up in race control tonight. And that is going to do it for us here on a Friday evening. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for the Vast series. 8:20 Eastern time. 8:20 Eastern time start on that one as they go to their next round on a Saturday evening. And then be sure to join us on the Destiny. Why am I so confused? The Destiny Racing League Pro Series, round number 18 at New Hampshire. That'll be tomorrow night at 7:50 Eastern Time. And then, as we do on Sundays, SNN Cup Series, round number 13 from the Lady in Black. That'll be a 7:10 Eastern Time start on that one. So on behalf of the Monsters of Speed Racing League NewGen Cup Series, remember, folks, hashtag Jimmy Strong, as this one I don't think could have been written any more fitting. This is Tony Trapasser reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as we walk down the road of life this week, don't forget to tell those around you that you love them. And whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.